Swadika, good morning and welcome to Newsline. I'm Cholapansa Narula. Thank you very much for joining us on this Tuesday morning, July 28th of 2015. Here is the news. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha, along with his wife, presided over the inauguration of the exhibition of Thai crafts in honor of His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen, in the hopes that the public, along with participating students from 88 schools nationwide, would adopt His Majesty's philosophy in everyday life. The Prime Minister urged participants to live a sustainable life for generations to come. He claimed that Thailand has the lowest unemployment rate in the world due to its ease of doing business. However, as the government has placed many restrictions in many off-the-book businesses, the economy has taken a hit. Therefore, the government will do its best to accommodate for changing conditions. After the speech, the Prime Minister and his wife visited the exhibition of Thai crafts and paid special attention to mud mee weaving, as it is a high-quality heritage from northeastern Thailand. He called on participating students to further preserve Thailand's unique crafts. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has chaired the opening of a vocational studies exhibition, praising its progress and urging vocational students to refrain from violence. The exhibition was held next to the Ministry of Education. The Prime Minister praised the progress of Thailand's various vocational schools in providing the country with quality personnel in preparation for the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC. He called on students to set a good example for the coming generations by exhibiting a spirit of national unity and refraining from creating violence between institutions. The exhibition demonstrates innovative products of business incubation within the various institutions and local communities. It also featured a showcase of various short-term occupational training courses, food from the 5 regions of Thailand, beauty salons, health massage, and a fashion show. The Prime Minister has affirmed that no politician will be asked to join his government after the upcoming cabinet reshuffle. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha said that the planned shake-up of the cabinet is not being driven by social pressure. He said that such a change is needed because it will work. The Prime Minister stated that he will use his personal views to make all the decisions, which will also take into consideration such factors as suitability, age, and health condition. He added that the actual reshuffle will likely take place when the government's term hit the 1-year mark. When asked about rumours that advisor to the Prime Minister, Somkit Jatusipitak, will join the next cabinet lineup, General Prayut said that remains just what people think, while assuring that no politician will ever be joining his government. The United States Department of State has released its annual trafficking in persons report for the year 2015, with Thailand remaining listed in the bottommost Tier 3 category. According to a press release from Thailand's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, keeping Thailand within Tier 3 did not reflect the country's efforts against human trafficking and the associated progress that has been made over the past year. According to the ministry, the government had made anti-human trafficking work a national agenda. A national-level mechanism involving the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Ministers, and all relevant ministers was set up to combat human trafficking. Several relevant laws were amended, including the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act. Networks of major human traffickers had been dismantled, and high-ranking officials found involved in human trafficking had been arrested and prosecuted. In the aspect of prevention, reorganization of labor in the fishing sector was undertaken. Some 1.6 million migrant workers were registered, so they may receive the same lawful protection as that entitled to Thais, and so the risk of the workers falling victims to exploitation and to human trafficking may reduce. The ministry indicated that over the past year, efficiency in screening and caring for victims of human trafficking had been improved. Now to the water situation. Farmers affected by water shortages are urged to grow crops that thrive well in dry conditions. Meanwhile, other farmers have taken up new jobs under a government program to support the agricultural sector. Agriculture and Cooperatives Minister Pitipong Phung Bunna Ayutthaya said that those growing alternative crops would be supported financially and receive marketing advice from government officials. Farmers will also be able to apply for low-interest loans. Many others will begin to work under the government's irrigation program, which employs farmers who were forced to abandon their rice fields. It is also meant to supplement their declining income. Provincial administration officers have been instructed to improve waterways and water management in an effort to promote long-term sustainability. The Ministry of Commerce has delayed the auction date for inferior rice in its stockpile from the end of this month to the beginning of next month, allowing more time for officials to conduct a thorough survey and separate quality grains from inferior ones. According to the Commerce Minister, General Chatchai Sarikanya, he has ordered ministry officials, academics, the National Farmers Council, surveyors, rice sellers and the Thailand Development Research Institute to inspect silos where government's rice has been stored. These officials are to thoroughly inspect 1.29 million tons of the supposedly low-quality rice in the ministry's stockpile, as well as estimating the cost of improving the grains for various purposes. After the examination, the officials will determine whether the rice should be sold in smaller portions or as an entire silo. They would also separate inferior grains from the rice to be sold for public consumption. Auction winners have been told to strictly use these grains for particular purposes, the minister said, adding that the ministry would later conduct follow-up inspections to make sure that the low-quality rice would not be sold for public consumption. Now to exports. The Ministry of Commerce has reported that the export revenue has been decreasing for 6 months in a row to stand at $18.16 billion in June. According to Mr. Somkiat Triratanapan, Director of the Trade Policy and Strategy Office, Thailand exported $18.16 billion worth of goods in June, which represented a contraction of 7.87%. The export downtrend was found to be dragging on for the 6th consecutive month. Between January and June this year, the total value was $106.85 billion, down from the same period last year by 4.84%. However, imports shrank slightly to $18 billion in June and to $103.38 billion for the first half of the year. As a result, Thailand still enjoyed a trade surplus of $3.47 billion. Factors contributing to the continuous decline in exports included oil price reduction, delayed recovery of the global economy, and significant contraction in the export of automobiles and parts. The weakening baht, on the other hand, is believed to help stimulate Thai exports, although it could cause the prices of some imported items to soar. The Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau, or TCEB, has revealed its plan to promote the southern island province of Phuket as the best location in the region of the Andaman Sea for meetings, incentive events, conferences and exhibitions, or MICE. Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau's Vice President Supawan Thirarat announced the strategy as the province launched the second Thailand MICE Mart last week. She said the fair gives an opportunity for 34 MICE-related operators, such as hotel and resort owners in the province, to conduct business matchmaking with corporations from both Phuket and Bangkok. According to the Vice President, last year, Phuket was able to generate more than 500 million baht in tourism revenue from approximately 70,000 MICE travelers. Meanwhile, Phuket Governor Nisit Chansomwong told reporters that the province is developing necessary infrastructure projects and working with the private sector in order to facilitate the activities of MICE businesses and build confidence amongst tourists. He said such projects cover the province's airport expansion and other public facility upgrades, which are expected to be completed by February next year. The improved facilities will be able to handle 12.5 million travelers a year. Moving on, a public hearing was held yesterday in Songkhla province amid tight security regarding the construction of the power plant in Tepa district. Let's have a look at the news now. Songkhla residents, religious leaders and other stakeholders attended the forum, which will go on until today. Public opinion is being surveyed ahead of the construction of the coal power plant and its seaport. Security has been reinforced around the event. Roads between Hat Yai City and Pattani province have been closed due to safety concerns while the forum is taking place. The first day of the forum focused on the construction of the coal power plant and its environmental impact, while today will center on the accompanying seaport. With water shortages now an annual occurrence, we all must try to save water. But how best to do that? The Department of Industrial Promotion, or DIP, is proposing 5 changes. Kun Panot Season Sub reports.
Thailand is currently facing a prolonged drought amidst lower than expected rainfall in many areas. The water levels in canals is considered very low, and dams have had to discharge water to the point that each is holding only a minimum quantity of water. The government has asked the public and especially private organizations running industries that requires a lot of water during production to cut back on its usage. Hence, the useful tips on how to do so.
The policy of the ministry, we want to reduce water consumption about 10% that we can do. Yeah, change of material, change of process, change of technology, change of control, and change of product. That is our policy, that to try to implement this one to the factory.
We head to a fabric dyeing company in Samut Sakhon province, where they have implemented the 5 changes, and they have proven to help reduce water usage by 30 to 40%, which means successfully reducing water usage by 135 cubic meters a day. A further calculation shows that this will mean a saving of at least 42,000 cubic meters of water annually, which is a benefit of over 500,000 baht a year.
The process I change the process of bleaching and the process of soaping. Normally in bleaching process we use 4 to 5 times bleaching process, but now we can reduce about 3 to 4 times. That means we reduce 1 time of bleaching process. And if I change the color, the dye stuff, we can dye easier and high fixation. That the soaping process we will reduce 2 to 3 times. Totally, I can reduce the water 4 to 5 times.
How is this implementation related to the 5 changes? First, the changing of materials and changes of product. The factory has decided to avoid processing fabrics that requires a lot of water. Then the changing of processes with technology and controls. The company saw the importance of error reduction and set about eliminating human error and getting the product right the first time. The company has invested in technology to control all of its dyeing processes, starting with an accurate replication of fabric color using computers, as the desired color can be programmed into the machine, creating accurate color combinations to achieve the desired fabric output every single time. Mr. Thongchai said that these implementations came from the know-how he accumulated along the way and the technical guideline from experienced people and organizations like the Department of Industrial Promotion, or DIP. These implementations have helped Mr. Thongchai's business to reduce its production time and reduce water usage along with water bills, even though the overall cost did not reduce due to investment in advanced technologies. However, the changes make a difference to society and are already well worth the investment. I'm Benno Season Sub for NBT World.
And that's it for Thailand Moves Forward. We'll now take a quick look at the exchange rates and also the commodity prices.
To maintain a strong nation,
Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. Third core value: being grateful to parents and teachers.
How could you do that to me? Stop it! Huh? Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore. Enough! We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
Physical connectivity, institutional connectivity, and people-to-people connectivity. The power to turn this region into a strong community. Witness the interconnectivity between the 10 Southeast Asian countries in ASEAN Connect via these channels.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. It's now time for ASEAN and Beyond, an international conference that sees the gathering of community healthcare leaders in Southeast Asia has kicked off in Bangkok. Health Minister Dr. Ratchatharajatanawin on Monday chaired the official opening of the 2015 Conference of ASEAN Community Healthcare Leaders, which the Thai government has joined Singapore's Institute of Mental Health and the Temasek Foundation in organizing this year. The event, which is scheduled during July 27th till the 29th at Pullman Hotel in Bangkok, has been initiated to promote the exchange of knowledge, technology, skills, ideas, and experiences related to disasters among related individuals. An exhibition has also been installed to showcase the progress in the improvement of mental health of members of communities from ASEAN Plus 3 countries where disasters have struck, including Singapore, China, Indonesia, and Thailand. For Thailand, the exhibition has shed light on the project related to the strengthening of communities through the education on disaster and primary mental health care. In other global news, armed men opened fire at a wedding ceremony in northern Afghanistan, killing at least 21 guests and wounding 8, according to provincial officials there. Provincial officials said on Monday violence has increased sharply this year in most parts of Afghanistan after US-led forces formally ended their combat mission at the end of 2014, leaving a small contingent of about 12,000 NATO troops to train Afghan forces. It was not immediately clear what prompted the attack in the northern province of Baghlan, but insurgent activity has increased in the province over the past year and private militias have proliferated. One of the members of the wedding party who sustained injuries said the firing started after an argument. Around 2,500 armed members of illegal groups operate in the Deh Sala district where the attack took place, said District Police Chief Kula Gulestan. British Prime Minister David Cameron met with ASEAN Secretary-General Le Leung Min in Indonesia's capital Jakarta on Monday as part of a 2-day working trip to the country. Indonesia is Cameron's first stop on a 4-day trade mission to Southeast Asia to spur lucrative business deals as well as to forge new political alliances to counter Islamist extremism. The Prime Minister is expected to seal trade deals worth more than £750 million during his trip. Cameron, who met Indonesian President Joko Widodo, wants to expand British trade links with the rest of the world to compensate for its dependence on trade with Europe, parts of which remain mired in an economic funk. The meeting with Min was closed to the media and happened ahead of a state dinner at the presidential palace. Cameron's tour will also take him to Singapore, Vietnam and Malaysia. Moving on, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras appealed for unity as division over bailout measures deepens in his ruling Syriza party. Tsipras made the appeal during a gathering of the party's political committee at its headquarters in the capital Athens. Tsipras' appeal comes as media reports reveal that some of its party members wanted to raid central bank reserves and hack taxpayer accounts to prepare a return to the drachma. The media reports, which highlighted the chaos in Syriza, were attributed to former Energy Minister Panagiotis Lafazanis and former Finance Minister Yanis Varoufakis. Both are members of the leftist Syriza party and were sacked earlier this month when they, along with a quarter of the party's 149 lawmakers, rebelled over the bailout plans, which Parliament eventually approved. Fans of Ernest Hemingway dressed up in the author's signature red beret and white shirt to mark the 116th anniversary of his birthday in Key West. Dozens of men paraded through the streets with wooden bulls as a spoof of the annual running of the bulls in Spain, where Hemingway spent a significant amount of time there. The parade was the highlight of Key West Hemingway Day celebration, which honors the time the author spent on the island writing For Whom the Bell Tolls and To Have and Have Not. Charlie Boyce, 56, a retired air traffic controller from Palm Beach Gardens, beat out more than 121 contestants in a Hemingway lookalike contest sponsored by Sloppy Joe's Bar. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you very much for joining us. Should you have any suggestions or comments, please email to us. The email address is now appearing on your screen. Today we say goodbye with North Korea's staging of a fireworks display in Pyongyang to mark the 62nd anniversary of the end of the 1950 to 1953 Korean War. I'm Cholapan Sanarula. See you next time. Sawasdee ka.